Unforbidden truth.
Okay.
This is J.S. Russell on the behalf of the Unforbidden Truth podcast. Today we're here with somebody who has fought for our freedom on two different fronts, in the armed forces and in the prison system. Miss Jay Rene, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. How you doing, bro?
I'm alright. It's a pleasure being able to interview you today. Could you please tell us a little bit about your platform and what it is that you do?
Sure. I have two platforms. One platform is Prison Riot Radio, and it's pretty much giving a voice to the incarcerated, formerly incarcerated, and their families. And I have Hip Hop Humanism, which is more of a community-based effort that creates grassroots programs for children and uplifts and promotes positive hip-hop artistry. Both of those are, being an independent journalist, it's led by different forms of journalism, written, audio, and visual.
So that's okay, beautiful. Now, how can anybody get access to that and hear your work? View your work?
So for Hip Hop Humanism, you can go on, www.hiphophumanism.com. And for Prison Riot Radio, you got prisonriotradio.com, and they both will give you a snapshot of each of what both of them are, most definitely.
Okay. Well, what I'm interested in is the story of the woman and why you do this. So you said that you do journalism. What's your history in journalism?
Well, I'm an independent journalist. I didn't anticipate being a journalist, really. When I was a little girl, I did want to be one of the broadcasters on television. I have a cousin, an older cousin, a few years, and she was into that, and I thought it was so cool. And I also, growing up on the East Coast, I had Renee Chenault that came on my TV. So it was pretty cool. It was really good to see a black woman doing that. Representation is everything. Goes to show, right? So I did think about it, but it was very brief. I used to sit in the bathroom and read the newspaper out loud and shit. My uncle thought I was crazy as hell. But I just used to, because I wanted to be well-spoken out loud, and I would, pretend in my head that I was doing that. But that quickly faded, and I wanted to be a few things growing up. So, years passed. I ended up joining the military, got married the first time, and just was on a different track. But I ended up back on track with it when I seen some things that was going on in my home city, and I seen how journalism matters because I watched some reporters get some false information from the police, and they put it out there, and now a lot of people believe that false information based on that, and I was like, that's crazy. So that was one of the things that sparked it back up. But it also started in the community part, where I was writing a lot on just the importance of being involved in our youth, the importance of hip-hop in the urban community, and how it can be detrimental or it can be uplifting. I talked about my experiences with hip-hop myself and how it affected me. So it was based out of just seeing the need for representation for ourselves.
Okay, it seems like also you were passionate about getting the truth out there as well, right?
Yes, I'm definitely, for real. I've always felt that way, in a sense. Like, I always cared about the underdog. I always cared about the truth, because like growing up, there were some instances that people lied on me and things like that, and I knew how it made me feel. And I don't know, I just was never down with a lie, letting a lie be the truth with some bullshit. So I guess it run a little deeper than I thought. Now that you bring it up.
Well, that's definitely something that I think the listeners and everything would like to know, especially about your background and exactly how you got here to this point in your life. Like, I heard you speak about the military, so can you tell us a little bit about your life before that and what led to the military, please?
Yeah, my life before the military, I grew up on the north side of Wilmington, Delaware. And I didn't have a bad life as far as, like, I wasn't super poor or nothing. It's pretty comfortable, but it was tumultuous. I joined the military actually to escape Delaware for a couple reasons. One, because it seemed like the trend was to have babies and just be around, just bopping around, acting crazy. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something else. And two, it's because my home life was crazy. Me and my grandmother was beefed out because she was going through something, man. And they always say that two women can't stay together. And I think they can if both of them got good sense, And if one don't or if both of them don't, it's going to cause problems. So I needed a way to get away, but know that I was going to take care of myself. I just wasn't like, man, I'm about to bounce and just figure it out. Like, I was like, where can I go and I can eat? And I can have somewhere to live, and I ain't got to do nothing crazy for it. In that regard, like what I thought crazy was at that time. I done did some crazy shit for the military, but at that time, crazy was like, having to prostitute myself, or just be bumming out in the woods or something. So the military was where I went, and my family's kind of a military family, so there's people that's been in the military, my uncle, my grandfather, even my mother. So it wasn't extreme to think the military would be a choice.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for your service. And I think that a lot of people that have come from some difficult paths can relate to what you shared as far as the craziness that happens in the street, and especially the people that are in the inside because of the result of that are in here. So could you give us more about why you were passionate about helping guys that are incarcerated or women that are incarcerated?
Yeah, I've been impacted by incarceration my whole life. It started with men in my family, and then it extended to my peers in school, or their people in their family, and then it extended to people who were actually my friends or guys that I was dating. So it's always been around. And at the time when I was younger, of course, I didn't really know what was happening and what it really meant. And me, like, I'm the type of person, if I know something's going on, I'm going to say something. And I have the ability to do so. I have the ability, I have the know-how. I feel like I have a certain set of skills that I accumulated over life. Like, I've been through a lot of different things, I think, to become this person, to do what I'm doing now. I've had lessons in humility, like firsthand lessons, what I'm saying, stuff like that. So it's like, if I know something's going on, I gotta say something, and because it's right, and I always, like, I've never looked at incarcerated people or someone who was formerly incarcerated as like this horrible person or nothing, because they've always been around me and my family, and just, I know that it's humans. I know that y'all are humans, you know what I mean? I love y'all. I've loved since I was a kid, so the question is, why aren't people doing more, knowing that these things is going on? I think it's a certain level of responsibility that humanity has to, when something inhumane is going on or something's going on that's not right, to do something about it. Like, that's just how I feel, for real.
I totally agree. I think the numbers are about 2.3 million incarcerated, so those are a lot of families and people that are affected and connected to people that are in the system. And I think it would definitely be greater if more people invested time and cared the way that you did. So it sounds like between coming up in Delaware, the harshness of what you had to go through in the home and the military, it kind of prepared you to be the strong woman and be able to look and be able to face these things and report about it. So did you go straight from the military to this, or was there anything in between?
Between the military and being a journalist, it kind of overlapped. Like, while I was in the military, I got married, my first marriage, and I was doing that when I got out. I became like a full-time housewife, And that whole situation, looking back at it, it's a lot of stuff that I learned, but the path that it put me on, there was things that I needed to relearn and retrain my brain on. Like, I needed a lot of more humility. Like, I wasn't a bad person. I don't want nobody to think that, but there was some shit I just needed to be humbled in, just from how I was raised, you know. When how you raise children, that shit stick with you, even if you don't notice it, even if it don't make you a bad person. It's just certain things. For example, like, I used to be really, really hard on men that might have an alcohol abuse problem, or a man that wasn't handling his business. I had like a contempt for him. But I got that growing up from the men in my family and the women in my family, from how they treated them and how they talked about them as I'm a kid sitting around. You know what I mean? That different type of stuff. So I had to be in a situation to, one, it directly affected me, somebody like that. And then I had to be broken down to the fact I became someone that needed assistance, you know, that I became that lady at the gas station that needed $5 for real, because I really need this gas to get to my crib, and I'm not bullshitting. So you need that sense of humility, and to kind of like keep you human and make you more human and just check you a little bit. And it helps, I think, it helped make the person that I am now, like, more well-rounded, you know, with more common damn sense and humility and compassion, you know.
Okay. Now, when you came back from the military, would you return to Delaware, and this is where everything that happened for you, and you got to get these lessons of life, or
no, that was in Louisiana.
What exactly?
When I lived in Louisiana.
In Louisiana?
Yep.
Okay. What was it? The marriage that took you to Louisiana, or you just?
Nah, the military took me there, and I married someone from Louisiana, so it kept me there after.
Okay.
I think if I wouldn't have got married, I could only assume since it didn't happen, I probably would have stayed in the area. I just would have been doing different stuff, because it wasn't a bad area, and I don't mind the weather, so, you know.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm asking this stuff because out of curiosity of what it takes in the making of people that really care about these issues, like as far as hip hop, the urban community, the incarcerated community.
I've always loved hip hop. Hip hop made me, man. Like, I used to watch my uncle walk around the house and he be freestyling and shit, and I used to just walk around and I wanted to be like, man, I want to do that, and then I did start doing it, you know. So hip hop has a very deep place with me. It helped raise me, man, watching it on TV. And I know the influences that it has. Hip-hop is everywhere. Like, almost every country you go to, nooks and crannies that's deep. Unless they don't have TV, hip-hop is there. You know what I mean? And there's lots of countries that pay homage to it. But hip-hop is powerful. Not only of its ability to spread and people like it, but it's powerful because it makes people... It makes people do stuff. Like, hip-hop will make people want to go a certain place. Hip-hop will make people use a certain word. Hip-hop, when Biggie came out, he made people change how they nodded their head. I don't even know if people seen that, man. He switched the whole thing up, how people nodded their head, bro. I promise you. If you think about it, you know what I mean? It's that type of powerful. So... To see how hip hop and it's a difference between hip hop and rap, but to see that rap is taking more over than hip hop and it's glorified, and seeing the direct effect on our children, it's like I had to say, like, I couldn't be me and not be like, yo, what's up. But I used to be a lot harder on rappers, but I had to become more well-rounded to realize it starts at home though. Because I grew up on these different rappers, Trina and Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown. Not really Trina. When Trina was coming out, I was more out the house. Plus, she, you know, I'm from the East Coast, so I was more into Lil' Kim and Foxy. Even though I listened to Trina too, that wasn't my wave like that. But I still knew how to behave because I had that parental and that guidance and my grandparents and everybody at home. Like, yo, I don't give a damn what Lil' Kim talking about. you're going to be talking about these books. You feel me?
The influence of hip-hop, especially dealing with guys in the street, young ladies in the street, versus who come to prison versus those that do other things, as you may say, rap, or the difference of it. And a lot of people may not be able to differentiate the two because, I mean, I guess one is born out of the other. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? We couldn't really say.
Right.
However, seeing that influence and how things have affected people, how things continue to go as far as in the streets as well as in the industry, what is it that you hope that your platforms will accomplish?
It's gonna sound crazy, but it's real simple. Just to make the world a better place, man. Like Hip Hop Humanism, with the grassroots programs, I want to create things for kids and youth that will exist while I'm gone 200, 300 years from now, that's enriching the community and giving kids that needed a chance, and it just grow and build to and morph into whatever the community needs at the time. That's what I want Hip Hop Humanism to do, and I want it to also keep positive hip-hop artistry relevant and be a platform where anyone that's positive when it comes to hip-hop know that's a place that they could come and it's a rest haven and they get love, and we promote them in a major way, you know, and keep them connected to those that care about that type of stuff. And then Prison Riot Radio, I wanted to continue to be a voice for those who need it, to amplify voices that need to be amplified, to continue to showcase the talents of the brothers and sisters that's behind the G-Wall, continue to be a segue between them and their families with the different platform we have with the other side of the game, you know, that allows family members to talk about their experience either in a monologue or question format or with their loved one, and continue to support and continue to, you know, make those phone calls when we need to in big numbers to get changes done, and to continue to call out wrongful convictions and get people support or over sentences or, you know, all of that type of stuff. Just bring exposure to the corruption and the bullshit of the system, because they need to. No one is gonna come and fix it. Cause they're not gonna fix it within themselves, because if they was, it wouldn't. That I'd have nothing to do in this area. You know what I mean? I'll just be talking about the things that they doing. So that I wanted to just get bigger and better. I would hope that one day we can support financially for people, brothers and sisters that need it. You know, if they don't have nobody and they commissary, they don't have enough food. Like, I would love for it to be that. That would be awesome. If, you know what I mean, just every little bit. So, and for them to be self-sustainable. So that's what I want. That would make me very happy.
Well, that sounds great. And so, speaking of financially, I understand how different things happen. They say poverty is the leading cause of crime. So there's a lot of brothers and sisters that commit crime in order to make ends meet. And even when we talk about rap and hip-hop, there's people that know that, you know, some things sell more than others, the more positive stuff. So things are monetarily driven or financially driven. So with that said, and you say that there's great people that you're working with on these platforms, who are some of the people and who are some of the organizations or businesses that you would like to share light on?
Okay, definitely State versus Us magazine. It's a voice of the voiceless, a vehicle. She is all over the United States and in Canada, and she does the same thing as Prison Riot Radio, but it's on a larger scale. And she brings brothers home, you know what I mean? So that's definitely one. San Francisco Bayview National Black Newspaper is another. They're very forward in advocacy for those that's incarcerated. They allow incarcerated to share their works in there and things like that. So that's definitely another one. We Nation, something that I'm a part of. That's in the lab right now. When it busts out, it's gone. People ain't even gonna know what to do. But that has my brothers and one sister in there along with me, and we doing our thing. Joseph Langdon. We got the brother Jay, Moshe, Mikey B. KK, Lorenzo, Minister X. So we doing our thing over there. And Ebb, Behind the Walls Mentors, definitely out in the community. I got to go to the community event with the bike drive. It was beautifully put together. Every time I talk about it, I think it was amazing. And we definitely got to make sure we give back to our community, so that's always going to have a place very, very close to my heart. Who else is out here? You got the National Plus Coalition. They are out here. They do the different seminars about what's going on, very heavy in the prisons, different things about our rights, history. It's just so many, man. Like, I don't want to leave nobody out. I'm trying to think on the quick of my head. In Delaware, you have the Jeremy McDowell Reform. You have the Lamont Moses. They have an effort as well. I don't know exactly off the top of my head, but anything in Delaware they got going on, I'm with. Because Delaware definitely needs a lot of exposure, because they got a lot of crazy foolishness going there when it comes to the higher-ups in the government. But like anybody doing anything, if I ain't mention them, if I share their stuff, if you see me talking about them, Society Concerns is another one. If you see me talking about them, they somebody that's one of the good guys. And I share people's stuff all the time. So anybody you see me share.
Okay, great. And I know as far as this platform, Unforbidden Truth, is generally highlights different people that are incarcerated. Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I wanted to switch it up a little bit to be able to know about the people that are involved behind the scenes doing the work to help, shed light on the different situations with this prison industrial complex and doing other things in the community. And I'm very, very thankful for this chance to be able to interview you. Is there anything else that you would like the people to know about Miss Jay Rene?
I just that, I'm me and I'm human, and I try to do the right thing. I don't like to be put in boxes. To put me in a box, you shouldn't. Just let me be me, man. Know that I ain't trying to do nobody no harm. And to stay sucker free. That's what I got.
Well, all right, soldier. You continue your fight. We definitely appreciate you, and this has been a pleasure. This is J.S. Russell with the Unforbidden Truth, and we thank you.